We are in Psalm 16, and we left off yesterday with, I will bless the Lord who hath given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. God stands by me at night, and he teaches me. And I need to let my mind and heart dwell on his presence and his guidance and his counsel in my life. What a powerful psalm we are studying in Psalm 16. And today we pick it up kind of in a part 2 of the psalm. It's a new paragraph. And we go into verse 8, Psalm 16:8. I have set the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Now I want you to follow this logic, and it's, again, so helpful and so powerful. First of all, David decides he's going to practice the presence of God. You know, it's only by God's grace that we're granted access to him. It's only through the work of Jesus on the cross. But once we come into his presence, once we are redeemed and reconciled to him by salvation, by grace through faith, we are brought into a place with God of total forgiveness, total grace, total acceptance, total affirmation. We are brought into an infinite inheritance. We are brought into a kind of love that surrounds us and immerses us with lavish generosity. We're brought into his presence permanently, okay? He sets his face upon us, and he never turns away. He is with us all the time, every moment of every day, and we are with him. Now, this is not a sensory, emotional, subjective experience. This is an absolute. This is a true, objective, factual reality. Now, we tend to gauge this by our experience. If I feel that God is close, or if I feel close to him, then I'm having a good day. But if I feel he's far away, or I feel far from him, then we're having a bad day. My friend, the Christian life should not be lived by feelings, okay? When you feel right, wonderful. When you don't feel right, pause and evaluate. Why don't I feel right? You might just have not slept well that night. It might be a gray or cloudy day, and that might be impacting you. You might have violated or quenched God's spirit in some way that you need to repent, okay? And my point is, the emotions the subjective emotions of it are not validators, okay? Our validation of God's presence is in the promise of Jesus, not in the feelings of our emotions. So learning to differentiate between valid and invalid emotions and objective realities is so important. David says, because of his redemptive place with God, he has set the Lord always before him. Now, there's a volition there, there's a will, there's a decision of the will to practice the presence of God. David is essentially saying, I accept that I am always in his presence and he is always with me. And I'm setting this as a reality in my life. And there's something to the statement that is very objective and independent of experience. This is what the Psalms teach us. The experience of the psalmist is, God, why have you forsaken me? God, turn back towards me. God, why are you hiding your face? How long, O Lord? All of these experiences. But the psalmists are talking to a Lord that is very present and accessible. And by virtue of that fact, we see that there's an objective reality that counters or that suppresses their subjective experience. So we have to learn that God is with us whether we feel it or not. And I'm with him whether I feel it or not. And I can set that. I can set the Lord always before me and not relegate him to merely a mystical or emotional experience. No, I can say, Lord, I may not feel you, but I know you're here. I may not feel close to you. I may not feel good about it, but I know you're with me. And I'm setting that as a reality in my life. And then David says, here's the outcome. Because he's at my right hand. Now, the idea of right hand was not only immediately accessible, but typically most people are right-handed, so that's their strong hand, okay? So there's a sense of strength in it. And typically the right hand metaphor in the Bible also references safety, protection, okay? Strong defense. It's a defense that's at my right hand, okay? So the idea here is this comprehensive view of I am practicing God's presence, whether I feel it or not, and I know He's at my right hand, and therefore, the rest of the verse, I shall not be moved. Now, again, the English vernacular and the modern sense of moving, I'm moving right now, right? I shall not be moved. What did that mean to an Old Testament psalmist? Okay, well, the idea of being moved is being displaced, being overrun, being overwhelmed by an enemy, an invading army coming in and running you off and overtaking your land. So there's this extreme sense of security and provision and safety and deep protection. I am grounded in God and I'm unmovable. Are you unmovable? Now, you might see this on two levels. In the first level, my body is vulnerable. My physical proximity is vulnerable. We've had natural disasters. I've had health struggles. I can die. I can be hurt. So yeah, I'm vulnerable to this life. I'm vulnerable to terrorist attacks. I'm vulnerable to health attacks. I'm vulnerable to other things. So what does it mean that if God is at my right hand, I shall not be moved? Where am I invulnerable? In all the ways that most matter. Okay, so all they can do, Jesus said, all they can do is kill your body. Right? In other words, the real you lives on forever. Your new body is indestructible. The things you have in Jesus, your inheritance, the lines that have fallen in pleasant places, that the things that are most valuable in your life are completely unlosable and indestructible. Okay, so you in Jesus are unmovable. And God is at your right hand. So He walks with you today, and He makes you invulnerable, even when you feel temporally vulnerable in some earthly ways, some fleshly ways. The truth of the matter is, in deepest, most infinite, most eternal, and most important and significant ways, you are invulnerable. Okay? So, yeah, time and space will do its worst to your physical existence. But God is at your right hand, and He makes you eternally unmovable. That's enough for today. Happy Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.